Hello YouTube, and thank you for joining me for another video breakdown. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at BoJack Horseman. Let's get to it. For me, BoJack Horseman is one of the defining adult animation series around. Between BoJack Horseman and Archer, they've helped define what an adult animation series can actually be about. For this particular breakdown, I'm looking in the middle of season 6, so it's the last season, been going for 6 seasons. They've touched on some really awesome topics and they've been really creative in some of the other stuff that they've done, but I've picked out this little sequence of 5 shots just for the camera direction inside it to have a look at what can easily be done to create a real intense mood for just straight 2D animation. Let's get into it and have a look. Yeah, so this particular shot is in season 6, episode 12, and it's 5 shots inside this. What I really like about this is it's very simple, but it really conveys a strong message just within the direction that's used and the camera technique that's driven to help sell what the idea behind this whole sequence is. So as we watch, I'll talk through it. Starting off with this opening shot here. We've got a huge building. If we look at the half, oh my goodness, that is horrible. Get rid of that. If we look at our center line down the middle, our 2 characters are just off center and they're below the 3rd line, or their eyes are just on the 3rd line. So we've got all this big, solid, concrete color and mountain all pressing down to this bottom 3rd where our characters are. And they appear just in this bottom 3rd. As we look through this shot, the camera doesn't move at all, but just look at a nice wide setting. So this is a nice wide shot to give the viewer a concept of the setting that our characters are in. You can clearly see that they're outside in the car park. So let's just watch through this. So all we've got is there's so much tiny motion in this. We've just got BoJack walking back and forwards, and we'll see at a cut point he's turned around and started to move, which has motivated the cut to then come in. As we can see between the cut, BoJack's just coming in. So we've got motivation for the cut, and we've cut to where he's still just coming inside. But our whole shot revolves around the center character, Princess Caroline. She is center, her eyes are just above center. So it's really very much, this shot is all about Princess Caroline. But if we listen to what's going on, BoJack's the one who's doing all the talking. He's really trying to talk through his situation. But this shot and this part of the story is not about BoJack, even though he's doing everything. He's walking through. We've got a very subtle camera just pushing in on on Princess Caroline, who this shot is all about. This whole sequence, BoJack just dirties up the frame and just wipes in front of her again, just to say that he's still there, thinking about himself, being a self-absorbed asshole that he is. And Princess Caroline is just sitting here, listening to it, dealing with it. And when you watch the animation in here as well, it's not like over the top, it's all very controlled, it's just very simple. You know, she's got a little bit of body movement, a little bit of eye movement, but you know that we're thinking we're with her. This shot ends up running for about, I think it was 25 seconds. This is something modern 2D animation really does well. It does give a chance for adults to try and relate to the character, even though if you look at her as a character, there's not a lot to look at. You know, she's a very simplistic character design, but we are being left with her, with the camera tracking in her, to be on her emotion, which is really cool for 2D animation to be able to linger on that. And I really love that transition point as well. It's taken at, so just look at this as motivation for the cut. It's only 1, 2, 3. She's only just started to have a little bit of action here, and that motivates the cut to now getting back to just a nice 2-shot for both of them, just to be in frame on a 2-shot. If we watch it, she steps in really quite very quickly and confronts him. And the camera move is really sharp, which again, with talking about matching the emotion of the characters with the camera move, we're no longer going for a nice slow move to get in deep with our character's emotion as she's internalizing and thinking. She's having an explosion to kind of get in his face. So the camera move matches that. That one, as she moves across, the camera moves across with her to match her and square him up. And you can see the camera actually gets there before she does. So there's no real ease out on it. It just reframes them. And then she hits her pose and he's backed up. As we can see them inside the frame as well, he's been pushed to the other side, the third, and she's actually taken center frame. So it's really nice to see that she's got the power in this conversation. Bojack doesn't have it. Princess Caroline's got the power. So yeah, Princess Caroline's taken the center. Bojack Horseman has taken the right. She's taking control of the situation and saying, this is what's happening. We've had that. And then as she steps back again, they've reframed so that they're more third. So she stepped out of the center. So she's no longer up in his grill and up in his face. She stepped back to give them a comfortable distance for conversation. And she's still just inside the third and he's outside the third. So she's still got slight power over top of him. Another thing to note, because it comes in really important for the rest of the shot. So when you're thinking about blocking a shot, you've got to think about where you start and where you want to end and what you actually want to tell within this, within the shot itself. We've already had that quick move up for the reframe, but just look at the silhouette of Bojack here as well. He's actually blocking the front seat of the car, which will come in important a bit later on. But right now, that's what they've moved across into. And we can see the emotional change between the two as their conversation goes on. Again, another long shot with just some camera reframing that happens. She's just unlocked the car. And here we go. She starts moving. So she's motivated the camera again, where she started moving out. So the camera's gone with her. If we actually go back. So she does start moving until she gets close to the edge frame here. Sure, that way. So Princess Caroline started moving. We can see that it reframes as she moves. We start pushing Bojack out. Bojack gets right to the edge of frame as Princess Caroline goes out and around the back of the car. So we've kept that camera move to go that far. We don't lose our main character, but now Bojack steps towards the center while Princess Caroline's changed angles. And she just walks back behind him. He stepped out to reveal the front of the car. So, but we've reframed him during a camera move. So the camera move's gone one way, he's reframed, we've followed her, and now they've changed paths, and we've reframed back again. But this time the characters have alternated between who's in center. The other thing which is really cool within this shot now, within that movement of moving the characters around within the frame, is we've now turned Bojack around. So we're looking at his back. So if you're ever looking at the back of the character, you know that's not your center of attention. So we're looking at Bojack's back, and we've still got Princess Caroline who's taken control, said, I've got to go do things. And we've cut straight back to now a lot wider shot than where we started off, which I thought was really cool. We've brought it out, we've made Bojack smaller in the shot, and we've got back to a shot that is all about Bojack now. So we started off our sequence with both of them talking about about the situation they were in. They've had a confrontation within the middle of the sequence, and we're left with the main character of the story and how he feels about what's going on. I love this little sequence. There is so much put into it within this 5 shots, so much storytelling within such simple little directional changes, or direction, with so much detail just put into this, that I just love this little sequence. That's why I thought I'd share it with you. Well, there you have it. One sequence out of BoJack Horseman broken down. It's clean, it's simple, but it does such an effective job at conveying something emotionally with some real simple direction. If you like this simple little breakdown, please leave me a like. Until the next time, I'll say bye-bye.